today on 2+U Nevada.
On the internet, you can email people, you could send them text messages, you can communicate with them through social media apps, so it makes it so much easier for not only just, actors here in the US, but also overseas as well.
Delving deeper into cybercrime and why the holiday season is a prime time for scammers to try and get you. What FBI agents are seeing in our community.
We're going to use every form of technology to take the gospel to the ends of the earth.
Taking a look at teaching humanity and churches using artificial intelligence to answer some of your deepest questions. Plus,
it's all client choice, so you get to pick and choose what you want and make a really special basket that will feed your family probably for most of the break.
Getting much needed food to those in need for the holidays. What Catholic Charities of Northern Nevada is doing to ensure nobody goes hungry this Christmas.
You're watching 2+U Nevada.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of 2+U Nevada. I'm Sarah Johns, your host. Today is Wright Brothers Day, a day to commemorate the first successful flight in a heavier-than-air, mechanically propelled plane. To honor this day, we sit down with the trustee, president, and board chair of the George W. Gillemot Foundation. That foundation is honoring George Gillemot's wishes to make aerospace and aviation accessible to our community. And we're talking from elementary aged all the way to adulthood. It's a fascinating discussion, so don't go anywhere. We are thrilled to have you join us for 2+U Nevada. You are watching 2+U Nevada. So excited to have my girlfriend, Marie Baxter, back, of course, CEO of Catholic Charities of Northern Nevada. Thank you so much for being here. You look so festive.
Oh, thank you. On purpose. It is the season.
It is the season. Today I'm just drab. Tomorrow I'll wear the Santa sweatshirt. How's that? We are here talking about the amazing job and work that you are doing to provide holiday meals to our community in need.
So we are coming into the home stretch. These next 2 days, we're going to distribute about 2,500 Christmas breakfast baskets, which is super fun. First come, first serve. We'll get into the details, but really creating that morning magic for families, individuals, seniors, anybody who is looking for a little lift this holiday season.
And I have to tell you, these baskets are filled with a lot of quality food for our families in need. And let's just kind of go through. Now, this is only a small part of the basket. Eggs, milk, cheese, bacon. That right there is going to cost you an arm and a leg. Sausage, hash browns, orange juice, apple juice, waffles, pancake mix. My goodness, Marie.
It's Christmas week breakfast, I think, more than just Christmas morning, unless you have teenagers, and then all bets are off. But really it is. We have about 22 items that are going to be in these baskets, and it's done in a pantry style. So people come in, they register, and then they go through, and you get to pick out what you want. So if orange juice isn't your jam, don't take it. But you can get this very robust basket to create that wonderful holiday, experience, which is what we want to do and uplift lots of people.
What I love that you said before we started the interview is that the amount of giving that has come in the past couple of months has by far surpassed what you've seen in the past. Kind of go into that.
We're really seeing, spurred by the government shutdown, a lot of people reaching out to Catholic Charities because we run 7 programs. We're a one-stop shop for people. So we've had about over 100 new donors in a 30-day period, which is a lot, actually. We've had just really robust giving, which is great because originally we weren't sure how many Thanksgiving baskets and Christmas baskets we were going to be able to produce. Now we have, we did 2,500 Thanksgiving. Now we're doing 2,500 Christmas. We just did 1,600 stockings for Operation Stocking Stuffer.
Yes.
And then the dining room is, fully ready to be open on Christmas Day with our partnership with the Nugget. So the holidays have been even more robust because neighbors are really leaning in and helping at Catholic Charities.
That warms your heart, right? To see how people are coming together for our community. And when you say 100 new donors, those are people who have never had a history of donating to you.
First-time donors. That just came out and said, I really want to, do something within the community. We also, for the first time, did specific holiday asks in every Catholic parish. and had a really robust support from our Catholic parishes too coming into the holidays. So looking at different avenues for connecting people, but it's just about, if you've got that little extra, now is the time. And I hope that trend continues, because we are going to have just as many people in need on the 26th of December than we have done in the last 6 to 8 weeks as we prepared for the holidays. So
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you said that, because the giving doesn't stop just because we flipped the page on a calendar, right? I mean, our community is still seeing that need. And I think we're going to see that domino effect for a few months.
For sure. And we know with the changes to SNAP we've talked about before, we're seeing more and more people who are losing some of those safety net programs. So we're looking at this robust generosity we've had, like this is a long game for us. So how do we elevate the holidays, because that's fun, but really making sure that when people are showing up, we've got all those resources available to them.
Yeah, and a quick reminder, of course, with the SNAP benefit changes, you have people that can help folks at home navigate those changes and get whatever information and documentation.
Absolutely. There's no wrong door at Catholic Charities. So if you're coming in, we can help you navigate whatever those needs be related to benefits, and just your options in general as you're navigating these challenging times.
Okay, so Marie, let's get into the nitty gritty of these food baskets. They're being handed out tomorrow, first come, first serve. Of course, that's December 18th, and then Friday, December 19th. So what does that look like? Where are the baskets being distributed tomorrow, December 18th?
Okay, so tomorrow at the corner of 4th and Valley, our main campus, starting at 8 in the morning till roughly 3 or 4, we will distribute 800 baskets in that time frame. In the afternoon on Thursday, we will also be at our pantry on Moana Lane, right across from Bobo's. And that will have about 250 baskets. It is first come, first serve. So I would come earlier rather than later, because when we run out, we run out. Then on Friday, we replicate another 800 at the corner of 4th and Valley, and then we'll have 250 at our pantry in Sun Valley on Gepford Way. So lots of opportunities for people to come in. And again, it's all client choice. So you get to pick and choose what you want and make a really special basket that will feed your family probably for most of the break.
You know what? Thank you so much for all that you are doing to help our community and to help our community members.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You're watching 2+U Nevada. You are watching 2+U Nevada. Joining us again this afternoon, we are so excited to have Assistant Special Agent in Charge Nathaniel Holland of the FBI Las Vegas office and Executive Assistant United States Attorney Sue Fahmy. She is located up here in Reno. Essentially, for folks at home to know, Nate is #1 in the state of Nevada for the FBI, and Sue is #2 for the state of Nevada for the U.S. Attorney's Office, and you are located here in Reno. Thank you both for being here. Now, you run and oversee the Reno field office.
The Reno satellite office, that is
Satellite
correct.
office.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and we've got a number of satellite offices here in Nevada.
We do. So we have our main office in Las Vegas, and then we have 3 satellite offices. We have one in Elko, we have one in Reno, and South Lake Tahoe as well.
And when we first chatted with you last week, we were talking about the role and what you've seen in crime trends here in the state of Nevada, really nationwide, but it is also hitting us here in northern Nevada at, I think, alarming numbers. So we're now delving more deeply into cyber fraud. And why is it so important that we have this conversation, sir, about cyber fraud in front of the holiday season?
Well, I think cyber fraud has become more rampant because you can touch more victims as opposed to, traditional fraud. In the internet, you can email people, you can send them text messages, you can communicate with them through social media apps. So it makes it so much easier for not only just, actors here in the U.S., but also overseas as well. And as far as just, during the holiday season, this is a big time for scammers. They're looking for money to buy Christmas gifts, or they're just, looking to ruin people's Christmas. So we're trying to educate not just the elderly community, but everyone about cyber crime threats.
And Sue, how do you even get these bad guys in a courtroom? Like, it seems so hard to be able to prosecute them.
Well, when you have great law enforcement agencies like the FBI, our other federal partners, our amazing local partners, it makes it easier. They can be complex cases. Sometimes it's difficult to find the perpetrators, but our law enforcement partners do a great job in putting the cases together, so it makes it easier for us to do that.
When it comes to the holidays, I was so surprised to hear some of the types of fraud that there are out there specific to our elderly population. So Nate, kind of go into what you are seeing cyber fraud wise targeted towards senior citizens.
Like I said before, you may have like an investment scam where, an elderly person may have retired and they're living off of their savings, their investment savings, and also maybe Social Security, but they're looking for other ways to maybe invest. And someone may call them regarding a crypto, investment or some other type of, virtual investment. And I always tell people if it's too good to be true, it probably is a scam. So we encourage our folks throughout the state to just reach out to the FBI. We have our internet crime, center that we take complaints regarding whether it's a cyber fraud or any type of, elderly fraud kind of complaint. So,
Okay. And then you were also talking about romance frauds.
Yes, that's a big scam that's not just happening here in Northern Nevada, but probably throughout the country where you have a senior, or even you have young people who are looking for love online. You see these shows, on VH1 about, finding love. What happens throughout the internet sometimes where, someone may go on maybe Instagram or Twitter or someone, maybe Facebook. And, elderly people are targeted, for those scams. And once you start talking to someone, it starts out very innocent. And it leads to, scamming people, for the fraudulently taking their life savings. So.
And Sue, I loved what you said before we started this interview is just start those conversations with your family members, whether it be your parents or whether it be your children. You need to have those conversations and have that open dialogue. Why is that so important?
Because they're a lot more aware. I think especially when it comes to children, they think they live in a safe bubble. And I started out very young with my kids. In fact, some of my friends would say, is that age appropriate? Should you be talking to your children about that? You're scaring them. I think there are ways that you could talk to your children in an age appropriate way. Mine are 17 and 20 now, so I could talk to them a lot differently. But when they were younger, a lot younger, I did talk to them about violent crime. I did talk to them about theft. There are ways you can talk to them in an age-appropriate way. And not to scare them, not to have them walk around every day scared, but aware.
Mm-hmm. Full disclosure, I attended an FBI Citizens Academy a few years ago, and I was so shocked by the number of cases of sextortion in Northern Nevada. Now, I know this runs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so that's all I'm going to say using that word. But it is so important that we talk to our kids about, hey, I tell you not to do certain things with your cell phone, but if you do it anyway, you can still come to me. Why is that so important, Nate?
Like Sue was saying, it's all about education because as an innocent young child, you don't know what's right or wrong sometimes when it comes to the internet because we have like Roblox for say. Kids are online gaming and some of the subjects that we're targeting, they're actually trolling on some of those video gaming sites. They're looking for, young people to target. We've had certain situations where you'll have targets of our investigation that are on Instagram, and they'll offer a young teenage girl, hey, do you want to become a model? And of course, sometimes these teenagers are spending hours online, and they'll say, yes, I want to become a model. And it starts out sending an innocent picture, and then it becomes, send me a nude photo. And then once they send that nude photo, then that's where
the conversation switches.
Absolutely. And it becomes leverage for that bad guy to take advantage of that, young teenager. And it happens to adults as well. It happens to athletes. There's been, cases regarding sextortion. So it just doesn't touch the teenagers or even toddlers. It's also adults as well have to be aware of some of the scams that are happening online.
Well, the FBI has phenomenal information online for parents at home. If you want to take a look on how to talk to your kids or just internet safety information, head to the FBI's website.
Yes, and you can also head to our ic3.gov, which is Internet Crime Complaint Center. And that's a mechanism to see what trends are happening, whether it's fraud or other cyber-related crimes. So it's a really good resource for the general public to look at.
Well, I can't thank you both enough for joining us this afternoon. Thank you. I hope to have you back in the future.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're watching 2+ U Nevada. watching 2+ Nevada. Joining us this afternoon, Tom Hall, the trustee, president, and board chair of the George W. Gillemot Foundation. Of course, a phenomenal community partner here in Northern Nevada. Tom, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, we were just talking before this interview even started about the wonderful work that has been going into ensuring our community's youth have access to aviation education. Go through the background and what created even the inkling of this foundation.
Well, it all started with a gentleman named George Gillemot. George was a pilot, an aviator. He was an inventor as well. And he came up with an idea back in 2003 to start a school of aviation at University of Nevada, Reno. And the timing wasn't quite right at that time, so it didn't really fly, so to speak. But I was invited in 2005 to attend a meeting of the Reno Air Racing Foundation. And I went to the meeting and I asked them what committees they had, and one was education outreach. So I asked, put me on that. And then I asked who else was on that committee, and they said, well, it's you, committee of one. And so that started a journey, so to speak, of how to promote aviation as a skill, as a learning, but also as a career and a workforce development process. And so that led me to working with a number of pilots in our area and the clients I had. I'm an attorney. And we kept meeting at my office once a month talking about what we could do. And that led to a concept of having speakers come to a school or high school or even the university. And so we've had about 15 or 16 of these speakers come to the university. And more recently, just 3 years ago, we had the pilots that flew the flight scenes from Top Gun Maverick come to campus. And I was able to introduce some of them, and it was just an outstanding success. And we'd like to repeat that over and over again.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about your partnership with the university. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that the Gillemot Foundation just gave the largest gift to the university. Go into that.
So George Gillemot had a dream. He went to high school, went into the Navy, got a job first as a roofer, repairing roofs, and then into telephone as a lineman. And George used to climb poles and repair wires and things like that. And so he was a very hands-on type person. He was smart, very smart intellectually, but he put himself through UCLA, got a degree in engineering, and then he went on after work and got his MBA. And so he ended up with a company called Communication Technologies. And he had 3,500 employees and 300 patents and just off the chart success. He retired to Lake Tahoe and then met me as his real estate attorney, and we started talking about the things that had occurred, and he wanted to make a gift to the university to start the program. The timing wasn't right at the university at that time because they didn't have it in their master plan and they didn't have this and that, and so they said no. And George somewhat got rejected. But I kept going because of my passion. I'm a pilot and was involved in different things. And so I started to keep working on this idea of that became Pathways to Aviation. And then we've had speaker series come to the university. And so it's been a way of building and building and building. And then George had his estate changed to make aviation as a pillar of his legacy. And George drew up a vision and a dream of what to do. And so Bill Johnson, who is here, and I and his widow, Marie, are fulfilling George's dream of bringing aviation to our community.
You are now a wonderful partner at AACT, the tech high school here in town.
So part of the process that I learned early on is that there's barriers to getting into aviation because of the cost mainly, but also just how to do it, how to open those doors. And George's plan was to help kids in the lowest level and through college and a career. And so we started talking to J. Wood Raw Elementary School here in Washoe County, and they adopted aviation as the theme for the elementary school. And now we're working with Washoe County School District, Beth Smith, about a drone program in our middle schools, in all of the 30 middle schools. And then next is, and you look at vertical alignment from elementary school to middle school to high school. And so we reached out, actually it's been over 2 years ago, we met every month for 2 years talking to Washoe County School District. A guy named Josh Herzog is a good friend of mine after all of this, and he was promoting the career training and education program at Washoe County. And so we came together and they made a request, the school district, for $2 million, which is in the scheme of things significant money, but they couldn't raise it otherwise. But we wrote a check for $2 million and said, get started. And so they had their groundbreaking and ribbon cutting just a few months ago, and there's a really great success. And what I'm hearing through the community is people are saying, my son is going there, or my neighbor's son is going there, or my nephew, or whatever. And so it's beginning to talk in our community what to do. And then we have other programs that I'd like to talk about as soon as we can that will bring this into different dimensions. But the ultimate goal is to get to the university, engineering, or into Truckee Meadow Community College for a program. So you can go from elementary school to middle school to high school to college, a university, and then to a job. And if we can build jobs in northern Nevada that relate to aviation aerospace, then George's dream will come true. And that's what we're working on.
I love it. We're going to have much more on the programs, education, and community outreach of the George W. Gillemot Foundation with trustee, president, and board chair Tom Hall right after these messages. Don't go anywhere. You're watching 2+U Nevada. You're watching 2+U Nevada, and we have been having the coolest discussion on this Wright Brothers Day with Tom Hall, the trustee, president, and board chair of the George W. Gillemot Foundation that's bringing amazing educational programs to our community's youth. And Tom, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, tell me about the other programs.
Well, just to back up a little bit, I did bring a little show and tell, which I'm kind of a show and tell type person.
Love it.
But I have the glider that will be featured April 7th at University of Nevada, Reno in a program. This glider set the world distance record for a glider out of Minden, Nevada. The distance record is 2,000 miles in a glider. And before this one was built, there was one called the Perlin Project that trained in Minden. It set the altitude record of 72,000 feet in a glider. So this is a program, April 7th, University will hopefully have about 1,000 people out on.
And that will be a fundraiser to hear the speakers?
No fundraising, it's all free. It's all free to the community. We just want you to tap into our Pathways to Aviation reservation code, which you'll see maybe later in the program, and come to the university, and you'll hear the people that set the world records, which is just fantastic.
Why is it so important to have the community own and go all into aviation, especially at a time? Let's just take a look at what happened during the holiday season and holiday travel, right? We need more pilots. We need more people in aviation, but we need to create that pathway for those pilots to even get that education.
George Gillemot came here. He adopted Nevada as his state, his home, and he was an economics guy. He knew business. He had inventions and things like that, and he felt there was a vacuum in the world of aviation and aerospace. And so his dream was to create schools, but careers for our community. And if we look at Nevada, and I'm not going to dwell in it too much, but it was built on gaming and divorces for many years. And now warehousing is a big problem, issue, and not an issue, but an opportunity. And then entertainment. Well, Nevada needed, in his opinion, something to drive our economy forward. We have Top Gun Maverick School in Fallon. We got wide open spaces. He was a pilot, and he said, why can't we do something for our economy that would give our kids a job, let them have a job, buy a house, get married, have kids, and then that would propel his society, his community. And George is very driven by his family, his connection with his passions, which were flying, school, achieving things, and projects. So I became his kind of project attorney. I did a lot of projects for George. And this was one of them, and I'm very delighted to help this project go forward.
One thing that I absolutely love, as we are talking about Wright Brothers Day, the Gillemot Foundation is providing a paper plane activity kit. Talk to me about that.
Well, I always had balsa wood airplanes when I was a kid. My dad was a captain for Western Airlines, and we'd get these little balsa planes, and you'd fly them and zip them around. And so I always had something in aviation, it seems like, in my hand and my mind all the time. Well, there are contests for paper airplanes, and how to build them, how to create them, how to fly them, and distances and things like that. So that's one of the ideas. Another idea we came up with is called the art of aviation. There's drawing and writing drawing contests around the nation, actually around here. And so we wanted to have drawings of airplanes put in our airport, Reno Tahoe Airport, in the concourses. And so art of aviation, model airplanes, paper airplanes, videos, anything to get someone interested in saying, wow, I like that, maybe I could do that. And then that would be an opening to go into these school programs that I talked about. And there's 6 counties in our region, Washoe, Carson, Douglas, Lyons, Story, and Churchill County. We want to have these type of programs in our 6 counties. They're within an hour or hour and a half drive of Reno, so all the programs we're going to do are for our community, to build our community.
So these activity kits, these plane activity kits, aren't just going into Washoe County schools, they're going into 6 counties?
As soon as we can do it. We're going to go as broad as we can to 6 counties, and if it all works, then we'll go to the rest of the state. You know, not Clark County, for example, because they have lots of stuff down there, but everything we can do in the 6 counties. We're putting on a program July 4th, a great celebration with a Reno Philharmonic concert, and then a drone show, 500 drones, most in northern Nevada history, at Mackey Stadium at the University of Nevada, Reno. It's a free event. We have a couple sponsors. One is the Gillemot Foundation. The other is the Bean Space Foundation, putting up seed money. And we're meeting with the university on Thursday and talking about how we can bring 15 to 20,000 people to a free concert and a free drone show at our university. So we feel if we can keep broadcasting this message over and over, in my world, repetitive statements are where you make a point. You say it once, you say it twice, you say it 3 times, and finally that 4th, 5th time, they finally get it. So our idea is to say this message as many times as we possible.
Well, then can I get you on this show 4, 5, 6 times?
You bet.
Let's do that.
Anytime we want to, we can do it here, because this is so exciting. It's a life dream come true for me, and I'm just so happy that George asked me to do this for him.
Well, we are thrilled to have you here. We are thrilled to hear everything that you're doing, from young to college, to get our community involved in aviation. And once again, this event is what day?
April 7th, 2026, and we have a video that was made, and maybe you can share part of it, by a girl from New Zealand that came to Minden to polish her soaring skills. And she talked for a lot, but 2 minutes was clipped out as her journey. And you can get your license for a glider at age 14, and then a license, earn a learning permit, then a real license at 16. And so it's something that everyone in our community could be aware of and be part of.
And this event is April 7th. We have information on your screen right now so that you can find out where to go and how to get there. Tom, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to talk about George, because he was a magnificent man.
You're watching 2+U Nevada. You are watching 2+ Nevada, and Clay Hall, president-elect of WIN Speaker Series, joins us this afternoon. Clay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. Great to be here.
So tell us a little bit about WIN Speaker Series. I absolutely love this organization and attending these breakfasts.
Yeah, so WIN has been around, since 1968. It was started as Western Industrial Nevada. A bunch of guys came together and said, hey, we want to promote our warehousing space here in Northern Nevada. And it's morphed over time, and now it's called WIN Speaker Series. And we bring speakers in from outside the area to motivate and elevate and educate.
I have absolutely loved attending these breakfasts for years because it seems like every time you leave, you've got like an actionable list of stuff that you can do to better your life, either personally or professionally.
Yeah, absolutely. And we touch on things that are relevant for folks. Right? So we've talked about social media, right, and how to engage. And you'd think, oh, social media, it's kind of overdone. But oh my gosh, I know what to do today on my LinkedIn page. We did a session on AI. Right.
That one was amazing.
That was great.
Oh my gosh, I took away so much on that.
Yeah. I actually implemented one of the tools in my inbox, and it saves me so much time.
Yeah.
You do learn things that are actionable that you can apply to your everyday life, whether personal or professional.
So when it comes to these events, how many do you hold a year?
We do 10 a year. And so we take some time off around the holidays. So our next one, comes up in December. But throughout the year, it's 10.
10 throughout the year, and they tend to be, was it the first Friday or the last Friday of the month?
It tends to be the last Friday of the month. Sometimes that changes based on, we try to skip some of when school's out. So you won't have an event in June. And then we come back, try to not make it so long since we've been gone. So it might be like mid-July, not,
Right,
mid-July.
right. No, you're really smart with the calendar too, because you recognize, no one's going to be here if they're all out on summer break.
Exactly. And we found that out the hard way, right?
Right. And these breakfasts are held where?
They're held at the Atlantis, and there's signage when you get there. They start at 7:30. Doors open at 7:30. Program starts at 8 for networking, and they go to about 9:30.
And the speakers that you bring in, Clay, they aren't local speakers. You're bringing in speakers that are really like well-known. You've brought in Olympians, you've brought in AI experts, like global experts. How do you source these speakers?
So we access some of the speakers bureaus, and usually they have really great referrals to us. And then also our personal networks. One of the people we brought in was somebody that I knew from LinkedIn, didn't actually know that person personally, but saw as real and said, hey, we should probably bring in this individual. And he was fantastic.
That's so cool. And I said at the beginning of this segment that you're president-elect.
Yep.
So you've got some massive shoes to fill because this organization has been around so long. What are your future plans for WIN?
Well, right now it's getting my arms around, what we do. There are some great board members that are kind of helping, prime the pump for becoming the president next year. What I really foresee is making the networking more than just on those Fridays, though, is maybe having some other events. Maybe it's we meet for drinks and talk. Maybe it's, hey, what did y'all learn at the last one? And we all come together and talk about it. So there's some things like that, and some more check-ins with the members, so that they feel they're getting a little bit more value out of the organization than they might today.
Yeah. And maybe having those happy hours or get-togethers like that would be fun, because you can't have bottomless mimosas on a Friday before work.
Well, you could, but it wouldn't go well at the office.
Clay, this is so cool, and I am so excited that you are the incoming president-elect of WIN. For this organization, and it's so highly esteemed in the community, to have been around so long, there is really a secret sauce to WIN.
There is, and like most membership organizations, people challenge through. We're challenged through 2020 and 2021. We're coming back. We've got about 115 people on average that come in on those Fridays. We had 175 last time, so our goal is really to keep building that and build our membership.
I have to tell you guys, this is a little behind the scenes. The very first time I ever attended WIN, my co-anchor Brent Boynton said, Sarah, you need to go to WIN. It's where the who's who of Reno goes to get to know one another. And he was the first person to take me to a WIN event, and I have loved it ever since. And for anyone who knows Brent Boynton, I just adored that man. So he's the one who introduced WIN to me.
Yeah, fantastic.
If anyone is interested in becoming a member of WIN, where do they go for more information?
You can go to winspeakerseries.com and you can either register for an event or you can look up and you can become a member.
Okay, and memberships are 1 year?
1 year, $389 for 1 year.
Oh, that's great.
And there's also a lot of sponsorship opportunities too for local businesses.
Clay, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You're watching 2+U Nevada. We are deep in Christianity's holy season right now. With the advent of artificial intelligence, the question is now being raised, can AI help in the lessons of humanity? If there is one place reserved for authentic human connection in a community, it's the church. But now more and more churches are using AI as a way of connecting with their congregations. Brian Unger takes a look at how One Atlanta Church is using the technology.
Everyone must put their shoulder to the plow.
At the Church of the Apostles, Dr. Michael Youssef is the man behind the ministry,
Jesus wealth.
guiding a congregation of 3,000 at his Buckhead Church.
And the next generation.
And like many contemporary ministries, streaming to tens of thousands more around the world.
We're going to use every form of technology to take the gospel to the ends of the earth.
And helping to fulfill that mission is what's inside this room, the machine behind the ministry. Computers speaking to over 50,000 worshipers using artificial intelligence through an app called My Faith Assistant.
Because I think God created it all and it's His creation, and we need to utilize it.
Youssef and a team of experts like Stephen Watson are utilizing the AI-driven platform for what they call pastoral care. It's real ministry in real time, like having a personal biblical counselor to not only deliver scriptural translation, but also Dr. Youssef's own words.
It is used as a biblical study aid and does not usurp or replace time that should be spent wrestling with the Word and in prayer with God.
While it may seem like a contradiction, more and more churches dedicated to a spiritual connection to God and the pulpit are using machine learning and AI to guide their flocks. In one study, tracking over 6,000 church leaders since 2021, last year alone there was an 80% increase in the adoption of AI. How does it work? We asked it the question, in the book of Jonah, is the story of Jonah and the whale real or a metaphor?
So now we go into the answer. Scripture teaches that the story of Jonah is a real historical event, not merely a metaphor.
Like the more secular ChatGPT, My Faith Assistant offered a concise explanation. But here's where it's different and customized.
Dropping a user directly into the portion of the video that's talking about what they're struggling with.
Even 2 miracles to be a Christian.
Is this helping us? Is this moving us closer to our vision and mission of who we are as people of God?
Dr. Amy Victoria Atkins-Jones is an assistant professor at Emory's Candler School of Theology. She worries that other churches could push too far into AI.
If the only place we can turn to care is to our computers or to our screens, then I think perhaps that's a stronger reflection of a place where the church hasn't been who the church is called to be.
As AI continues to grow in religious spaces,
The call in our life is to say, here's the truth and here's the falsehood. The choice is yours.
there's still one role, at least for now, that comes with absolute job security.
Are you a business or nonprofit and want to be featured on 2+U Nevada? Have a Mom to Mom Monday, a Tried It Tuesday, or even a cute pic you just want to show us? The whole point of 2+U Nevada is the plus you. You can send us your content by visiting our website. Head to 2news.com and click on 2+U Nevada. Or you can email us at 2+UNevada@ktvn.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now for some What in the World Wednesday. A strange but thought-provoking study zeroes in on a surreal sight caught on a trail camera involving moths, a moose, and its tears. Take a look at a trail cam clip that experts say appears to capture moths drinking the tears of a North American bull moose. The strange footage captured by the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department became the basis for a University of Vermont study published in the journal Ecosphere, which focused on lacryphagy, a known phenomenon where insects feed on other animals' tears for vital minerals and nutrients. The study said the images of the Vermont encounter may be the very first known documentation of the practice involving moths feeding on moose tears. Don't you wish this was local footage? That would mean we have snow. More than 300 people dressed in Santa costumes and hit the slopes at Sunday River in Newry, Maine over the weekend for the resort's 25th annual Santa Sunday fundraiser. According to the resort, this year's event raised $10,000 for two nonprofit organizations there, the Boyne Forever Foundation and the River Fund Maine. Planters is looking for some good nuts. The company is bringing back the Nutmobile come June and is looking to recruit some college graduates to drive this public relations firm on wheels across the country. Last year's class of peanutters traveled to 46 states and met more than 160,000 Americans on their journey, all while receiving an annual salary, full-time benefits, generous meal and travel stipends, and real-world marketing and PR experience. When the year-long tour wraps up, peanutters can apply for full-time roles at Hormel Foods. And finally, I can't stop with this what in the world. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is again ridiculous. No tickets matched all the winning numbers from the last drawing on Monday night, so now the jackpot is an estimated $1.25 billion. This is the sixth largest jackpot in Powerball's history. And we are leaving you with good wishes and good luck for a jackpot win. As we get closer to the holidays, we do want to let you know that 2+ Nevada will be taking a holiday break the week of December 29th through January 2nd. We will be back on the air in the new year beginning January 5th. Thank you for inviting us into your home. We look forward to joining you every weekday at 3 for 2+ Nevada. 2 News Nevada at 4 starts now.